What if I told you that the secret to India's next economic revolution begins with destruction? Yes, destruction. Because sometimes to build something truly great, you first have to let something die. That may sound unsettling, especially in a country that has always prized continuity and preservation, but that's exactly the truth the 2025 Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences compels us to face. This year's laureates, Joel Mokyr, Philippe Aghion, and Peter Howitt, were honored for explaining how innovation drives prosperity. And the force at the center of their theory is something Joseph Schumpeter nearly a century ago called creative destruction. The process by which new ideas, new forms, and new technologies constantly replace the old. For India, standing at the edge of a once-in-a-century transformation, this isn't just an economic idea. It's a mirror. So what does this really mean? Let's start with the core insight of Aghion and Howitt, who took Schumpeter's intuition and turned it into a formal theory of what economists called endogenous growth. In simple terms, growth doesn't just happen because we build more factories or hire more people. It happens because innovators, entrepreneurs, scientists, thinkers keep inventing new ways to do things better. Each new idea raises productivity, disrupts incumbents, and reshapes the economy. In that sense, economic progress is not really a smooth curve. It's a series of disruptions. It's not about balance, it's about evolution. And that brings us to Joseph Schumpeter himself, the maverick economist who saw capitalism not as a calm, rational machine, but as a living, breathing organism. In his world, entrepreneurs are not mere profit seekers. They are agents of change. They disturb equilibrium, they break routines, they destroy the comfortable so that something better can take its place. Schumpeter called them the heroes of capitalist evolution. He believed that the true engine of capitalism wasn't capital itself, it was innovation. And innovation by its very nature is disruptive. When a new technology arrives, it doesn't politely coexist with the old. It replaces it. It renders old factories obsolete, displaces old jobs, and forces society to adapt. This is the very essence of creative destruction. Let's call this the Schumpeterian school of thought. It rests on 5 bold ideas. Number 1, innovation drives growth. Not capital, not labor, innovation. Number 2, entrepreneurs are revolutionaries. They challenge the status quo and unleash change. Number 3, destruction is a part of creation. Old structures must crumble for the new to rise. And number 4, capitalism moves in cycles. Booms and busts are not bugs, they are features. Number 5, institutions matter. Competition, education, and culture determine how well innovation takes root. That's why modern economists like Aghion and Howitt are called neo-Schumpeterians. They turned his poetic intuition into a scientific model. They showed that societies which protect incumbents too much or fear disruption too deeply end up stifling their own growth. Because when the new cannot challenge the old, progress stops. But growth isn't just about economics. It is also about culture. That's where Joel Mokyr comes in. Mokyr asked, why did modern growth take off in Europe, not elsewhere? His answer, because Europe nurtured a culture of curiosity. In his book, A Culture of Growth, he describes how the 17th and 18th century Europe became a republic of letters, a space where thinkers debated, experimented, and most importantly, shared ideas freely. Innovation flourished because society valued knowledge and tolerated failure. And here lies an uncomfortable truth for India. We have the hardware for innovation, a young population, digital infrastructure, and capital. But our software, our culture, often punishes questioning, fears failure, and prizes compliance over curiosity. Without that openness, innovation becomes imitation. And imitation, while useful, doesn't really create new frontiers. Now, here's where Indian philosophy offers a remarkable resonance. In our traditions, Shiva embodies the principle that destruction and creation are two sides of the same cosmic rhythm. In the dance of Tandava, destruction is not chaos, it's renewal. It clears away what no longer serves life, making space for what does. That's the spirit of creative destruction in economic life too. When we hold on too tightly to old institutions, inefficient firms, or obsolete systems, we block the flow of renewal. But when we allow change, even painful change, we enable progress. And this is where India's economic policy often faces its toughest test. We are a nation that celebrates innovation but also fears disruption. We talk about startups but often over-regulate them. We admire entrepreneurship but penalize failure. We promise reform but preserve old monopolies for political comfort. The result? Our growth so far has been adoptive but not innovative. We've scaled what others invented but haven't yet built an ecosystem where new ideas routinely replace the old. To change that, India must truly become a Schumpeterian economy. That means three things. First, we must make it easier for new firms to enter and old ones to exit. Bankruptcy should be a process of renewal, not stigma. Second, we must protect competition, not incumbency. Regulators should focus on keeping markets open, not on shielding favorites. And third, we must invest in research and open science. Today, India spends less than 1% of its GDP on research and development. That must rise dramatically, with collaboration between universities, startups, and industry. Because when knowledge flows freely, innovation multiplies. But creative destruction has a human cost. When new industries rise, old ones fall. When technology advances, some skills vanish. So if we are to embrace disruption, we must also protect the disrupted. That means large-scale reskilling programs, portable social insurance, and labor mobility across states and sectors. Only then can we make creative destruction not just economically efficient, but socially fair. When people trust that the system won't abandon them, they stop fearing change. And when fear subsides, innovation takes flight. Our federal structure can also be a strength here. States like Karnataka, Telangana have shown how local policy innovation can drive global competitiveness. If each state became a laboratory for creative destruction, experimenting with its own innovation policies, India could evolve as a federation of renewal. This is competitive federalism in the best sense of the word. A race not to the bottom, but to the future. The Nobel Committee, in announcing this year's award, reminded us that stagnation is the default state of human societies. Growth must be fought for again and again. India's challenge, therefore, is not just to grow, but to keep growing by renewing itself. To protect the new, not the old. To prioritize the long term over convenient short term. To make innovation not an event, but a habit. If Schumpeter could meet Shiva, they'd likely agree on one simple truth. Destruction is not the enemy of creation, it is its beginning. And perhaps this is the path India must walk now, to become not just a fast-growing economy, but a self-renewing one. Because in the end, creative destruction isn't chaos, it's choreography, the rhythm by which societies dance their way towards progress.